For the past 15 years, we have been told one story about the future of technology. The story goes like this. Your devices are dumb, the cloud is smart. Your phone, your camera, your car, they are just windows. The real intelligence lives somewhere else. In massive data centers, thousands of miles away, owned by a handful of Send your data up, get the answer back. That is the cloud myth. And in 2026, that myth is finally dying. It is not dying because the cloud is failing. It is dying because a new generation of hardware and software has made the cloud optional. A measurement study cited in recent analysis shows that 58% of end users can reach a nearby edge server in under 10 milliseconds, while only 29% can achieve similar latency to a nearby cloud location. This is not a marginal difference. This is a paradigm shift. Today, we are breaking down 5 critical fronts where Edge AI is systematically dismantling the centralized cloud dogma. We will look at hardware breakthroughs, cost math, privacy architecture, industrial adoption, and the convergence that is rewriting the rules of computing. Before we begin, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This helps us bring you more deeply researched, data-driven coverage of the technology that actually shapes your life. Now, let us bury the cloud myth together. 1. The latency lie. Why distance still matters. In 2026, let us start with the most fundamental deception in cloud marketing. The idea that distance is irrelevant. Cloud providers have spent billions convincing us that their data centers are close enough. But physics does not care about marketing budgets. The speed of light in fiber is roughly 200,000 kilometers per second. That sounds fast until you add routing, congestion, and the fact that most users are not connected to a data center next door. A comparative study cited in recent Hugging Face analysis reveals that 58% of end users can reach an edge server in under 10 milliseconds, but only 29% can hit a nearby cloud location with the same speed. That is not a small gap. That is a chasm. For the remaining users, the difference can stretch from 10 to 100 milliseconds, or worse. 2. The bandwidth tax. Why data transfer is the hidden budget killer. If latency is the performance lie, bandwidth pricing is the financial trap. Cloud inference looks cheap when you only look at GPU hourly rates. But that is not where the real cost lives. The real cost lives in egress. Amazon Web Services lists tiered data transfer route pricing starting at 9 cents per gigabyte for the first 10 terabytes per month. Microsoft Azure charges similar tiered rates after a free allowance. 9 cents per gigabyte sounds harmless until you are streaming high-resolution video feeds from 50 cameras, each generating multiple gigabytes per day. Suddenly, your bandwidth bill rivals your compute spend. And unlike GPU instances, you cannot shut egress off when you are not using it. It accumulates, relentlessly, invisibly, and expensively. Edge AI kills this tax by processing data at the source. 3. The hardware avalanche. Edge GPUs that no longer compromise for years. The knock against Edge AI was simple. Edge devices are weak. You cannot run serious models on a Raspberry Pi. That argument expired in 2025. NVIDIA's Jetson, AGX, Orin, an embedded module the size of a credit card, is marketed at up to 275 trillion operations per second of AI performance. 275 tops. That is not a toy. That is a supercomputer from a decade ago, running on watts instead of kilowatts. And the hardware curve is accelerating, not flattening. In February 2026, AdLink expanded its edge computing lineup with Intel Xeon 600-based GPU servers specifically designed for industrial and on-premise deployments. These are not edge prototypes. These are server-class systems with PCIe Gen 5x16 slots, multi-GPU configurations, and short-depth chassis built for factory racks and remote sites. 4. The privacy imperative. Compliance without compromise. Cloud computing was built on a simple bargain. You give us your data, we give you intelligence. That bargain is increasingly unacceptable. The European Union's Data Act applies from September 12, 2025, and its cloud switching rules push providers toward lowering and eventually removing switching charges on timelines extending into 2027. But regulation is only part of the story. Consumer awareness has shifted permanently. Organizations handling sensitive data healthcare records, biometric identifiers, industrial intellectual property can no longer justify transmitting raw data to third-party data centers for inference. Edge AI offers an alternative architecture. Process data where it is generated, extract insights locally, and share only anonymized, aggregated, or encrypted results. 5. The convergence. Why edge and cloud were never enemies. Here is the final, most important truth. Edge AI is not killing the cloud. It is killing the myth that the cloud must do everything. The most sophisticated organizations in 2026 do not treat edge and cloud as opposing camps. They treat them as a continuum. The decision rule is now clear and measurable. Use edge GPUs when your product is defined by immediacy, locality, or confidentiality. Use cloud GPUs when you need elastic scale, rapid experimentation, or access to the latest accelerators without capital expenditure. The emerging architecture is hybrid by design: edge pre-processing, cloud reasoning, small local models for most requests, large cloud models for uncertain or high-value cases. This is not retreat from edge. This is maturity. The market numbers reflect this convergence. So, where does this leave us in 2026? The cloud myth was never about technology. It was about control. Centralized compute, centralized data, centralized power. Edge AI does not just distribute processing, it distributes agency. 58% of users can now reach intelligence in under 10 milliseconds. Not because the cloud got closer, but because the edge arrived. Hardware once confined to data centers now runs in factory racks and remote labs. Privacy is no longer a feature you request, but an architecture you deploy. And the cost calculus has shifted decisively against sending raw data anywhere it does not absolutely need to go. The cloud is not dead. It is just no longer the only game in town. And in 2026, that is exactly how it should be. If you found this breakdown valuable, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who still believes the cloud is the only intelligent layer in their stack. Because Edge AI is not coming. It is already installed, and leave a comment below. Have you calculated your actual inference costs, or are you still running on vendor default settings? We read every comment. Thank you for watching. Stay curious, and keep your processing local when it matters.